voices collide. Fingers twist, dials chasing the tide. Antenna stretch high, scratching the sky. Crackling whispers, the reason we tried. Shenanigans live stream rolling tonight. James and Dan breaking the quiet fight. Ham radio screen in the park's twilight. Electric chaos under the moonlight. Frequencies dance, they jump and they burn. Signals lost, found, taking their turn. Echoes of voices from miles afar. Tangled up messengers under the stars. Shenanigans live stream rolling tonight. James and Dan breaking the quiet fight. Ham radio screen in the park's twilight. Electric chaos under the moonlight. Spin the wheel, send the call. Voices rise, towers tall. Crashing waves of sound collide. No escape, nowhere to hide. Shenanigans live stream rolling tonight. James and Dan breaking the quiet fight. Ham radio scream in the park's twilight. Electric chaos under the
What is up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Thanks for stopping by your one stop for everything Adventure Radio. It is Sunday. Time for some shenanigans, some great music, and a whole lot of fun. Happy Father's Day, everyone. If you haven't called your dad yet, shame on you, because I wish I could call mine right now. All right. Thank you very much, Patreons. We're going to talk a whole lot about you guys and this whole weekend of fun that we just had. You guys are awesome. Also, big shout out to the YouTube members. Equally important, welcome our newest, Mr. Gene. And the ever-changing board with Alpha Delta 8 Kilo Bravo with an off-stream donation, getting him into that number 7 spot. So thank you very much, Michael, for that. Dan, what is going on?
Man, not a lot. Good to see you back in the kingdom's capital. I told Terry to hold it down while you were gone, and I think he did a pretty decent job other than the weather.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But hello, everybody. Welcome to Shenanigans on this Father's Day Sunday. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. This is episode number 126. Thanks for sticking around for all these weekends with us. Whiskey One Whiskey Charlie was first in the chat. Georgia Parks and Propagation was next. That's our buddy Ron Chris. Alpha Echo 4 X-Ray Oscar. Kilo Oscar 4 Sierra X-Ray Hotel Bill Duckett. Hello, buddy. Kilo Oscar 4 Golf Bravo. What's happening, Mo? And Mike 88 KB. What is up? And Cornbread KO5RN. What's going on, man? Our buddy Ronnie is here also. Kilo Oscar 4 Zulu Romeo X-Ray. KO4 FS Zulu antennas. What's going on, Chris? Chris, another Chris, Whiskey Zero, Charlie Golf Charlie. 73 from East Tennessee. Sounding great, buddy. Good to see you. And Terry, Kilo 8, Golf Quebec. I tried to masquerade as Terry during one of your activations. I called his Whiskey Delta 4 Golf Quebec. Probably messed everybody up. That was pretty fun. Bob Crumbly, what's going on? KO4 Zulu India Kilo. Martini is here. That's the Jumbo Marshmallow. Whiskey Delta 4 Juliet Mike. Kelly Rose. Hello. KI4JAV. Chris is here. Whiskey 8 Oscar X-Ray. N3WER, the Ham Radio Elmer says, do they ever work DX when live? Dude, this is shenanigans. You never know what's going to happen here. We might. You never know. Pete Knapp, the 0.5 watt wonder from West by God, Virginia. Good to see you, buddy. Happy Father's Day to you as well. KN8PPY. Dad is here. Kilo Delta 9 Uniform Victor Kilo. Good to see you. And Jeff M, KD9 Zulu Sierra Lima. And Chris Alpha Echo 4 X-Ray Oscar over at Georgia Parks and Propagation dropped in his $2 to make you holla super chat. And hope you're feeling better from the Covey Cove there, Chris. And you're sounding a little bit back to normal. But James, what about your weekend? Was it fun?
Dude, it's been absolutely awesome, man. I don't even know where to begin. First off, Thank you very much, Chris, for the super chat. And you know what? Ham Radio Elmer, maybe that's something we could do Wednesday, Dan. Maybe we can make some contacts on Wednesday stream.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, because I haven't set Wednesday stream up yet. We might as well make this happen for him. So Wednesday we'll be making contacts, DX and others on Wednesday.
Depending on how the band is.
Well,
all depends on the band, but we will try.
Depending on the band conditions, DX might be as far as we can reach on 2 meter.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, this was the first year for the Michigan Patreon meetup, and I'm going to tell you, it was definitely not a letdown. We had a great time. It was actually bigger than the first year of Murphy. So if that tells you anything. And
bigger is always better.
I'm going to just go ahead and say, first off, thank you very much, Liz, for all the work she put in to this meetup. She did an outstanding job. And thank you very much to Liz and Andy and the whole family, because the Rose Inn is 5-star luxury suite. Let me tell you.
Would stay there again.
Yeah, I would definitely stay there again. And the restaurant there, it's exquisite. It's just amazing.
Is it a complimentary breakfast or did you have to pay?
Oh, it was complimentary.
Very nice. Nice.
And the room was stocked with plenty of Dr. Pepper, plenty of Reese cups, plenty of brownies, cake, ice cream, you name it. It was stocked to the limit. So you couldn't. And there's a whole lot we'll talk about those guys as well. But you mentioned Terry. And for the most part, Terry kept the kingdom pretty safe. He did, however, at one point let the maid in the throne room. And when she was dusting, she turned off the band switch. And I had to fuss him out because the band switch had been turned off. And it just wasn't working very well being turned off.
Does he know where the band switch is to get it turned back on, though?
Well, I told him to tell the maid to turn it back on. She knows.
Okay.
She has to dust it. But his other big mistake was the second I get close to West Virginia, I'm right back in the rain again. I mean, I'm going to tell you. So the forecast for Friday up there when we did our 10 Park Grove was thunderstorms all day long. But Liz just said, no. And she turned that off. Why can Terry not figure out how to turn off the rain?
Well, when you leave a jester in charge, some shenanigans are bound to happen.
Oh. But speaking of shenanigans, not only did I get a new Dr. Pepper hat,
I like it.
I also got the I Love Icon t-shirt
Yes.
from Mr. Joker Josh. Oh, that reminds me, I found something for Josh too. We'll put that on the stream here shortly. And from Dad. Dad bought me a Father's Day present.
Ooh.
I think it's supposed to be the other way around, but he bought me some Dr. Pepper socks to go with my
Ooh.
Dr. Pepper underwear that I have.
Very nice. You gonna be sporting those in Huntsville?
Oh yeah. We'll probably activate into Dr. Pepper underwear and socks, and the hat only on the back porch. So you know the crowd will probably be 4 times as big as normal when this gets out. So let me pull this up here and send this to myself because I found something that Josh needs to see because it'll make him really happy.
Terry said he was caught in a little cloud burst about an hour ago. Had to pull over while he was driving.
Oh, speaking of cloudburst, not only did I come back to rain, but he sends me pictures of the tornado that went right over top of my house. Terry, that's not allowed, buddy. What are you doing? Let's get this picture sent though.
Jimmy has a good idea. When you go to Texas next time, go to Waco, and there's a Dr. Pepper museum in Waco, Texas. I did not know that.
Well, I knew Texas was where it came from.
There you go.
But I did not know there was a museum. Because if you remember, we talked about this once before. When I was down in Florida and I was activated. Remember how we talked about when you're in Florida, some of the wildlife management areas you should be packing.
Yeah.
You know, I've got the one that twice when I've been there, the agents have rushed in full gear and back and running back through there. I'm like, where's that? What am I going to do? Keep one?
Last call.
But you know, I was at another one, which people always dump their trash at which is horrible. But for 2, you know, you've heard of lot lizards before, but this one had a park salamander, and she come walking out of the woods, and her pickup line, because I'm sitting there and activating my Dr. Pepper's in there. Ooh, you drink Dr. Pepper? I'm from Texas, and that's where it's from. QRZ.
Oh, that is great.
All right, let's get this sent to myself so I can bring it up on the screen real quick.
Ain't no telling what this is going to be. This is going to be good here.
But now, we'll start with. Well, no, we covered the trip up on the last stream. We'll start with Thursday. We went out and did 6 parks. But now you got to remember, this is 6 parks with a whole lot of children, even children younger than the activators. So and of course we had sidewalk cherry. So there was definitely things that we had to make sure. But it was really funny because every time we get back in the car, the littlest one was like, "Mom, I'm hungry. Mom, I'm hungry." So you'll get a kick out of that later. We did 6 parks, all of them new to me, of course. So that was great. Got back, had an awesome dinner. The next day, we go out and we do a 10 park rove. And to my knowledge, this is Andy, Kilo 8 Alpha Papa Romeo's first rove that he's set up like that. I'm pretty sure. Now, it might not be, but I'm pretty sure it was. And he done a stellar job with the planning of this rove. He had it laid out absolutely perfect. And he took me to a lot of really cool places that I would have never seen if I wasn't doing POTA for sure. And it was really awesome. We did one park where we all now there was on this one there was all the kids were activators. There was a total of, let's see, let me make sure I get this right. 5 Rose kids. Well, they're all Rose kids, I guess. 5 Rose kids, and then their cousins, Josh and it's either Audrey or Aubrey. I say them both when she hunts me, and she knows I do this, so I'm not embarrassed about it. But we all hiked up this hill, and I mean it wasn't real far, but it was up a hill, and we went up there to a lookout tower that was on the top, and we ran a infed up there. And I'm gonna give Steven, Kilo Delta 9 Uniform Delta Victor a shout out. Even though he was trying to hit this really high branch over here, he hit one higher. So
I saw that video on Discord. Is that when he did his granny throw?
No. That was Ronnie.
Okay.
Zulu Romeo X-ray.
I'm not making any jokes about that. I love that little granny throw because that's you can get way good accuracy and height off that.
Dude,
I love it.
That's the way I throw it. That infed there was a vertical.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw that thing way up in the air.
You can get a lot of distance.
Yeah, it was crazy. I actually have that video. It'll probably be going on the meetup video that comes out. But yeah, we hiked up there. We went to several beaches in Michigan.
Dang.
It's crazy how many sand dunes they have up there. And I mean, I'm talking mountainous sand dunes. But it was really an interesting rove. Had a great time, and honestly, we had no problems. The bands were not. That was the day the maid must have dusted the bands, but we tried to make somebody new run the mic every park, and it was pretty slack. And when Sidewalk Sherry came up, it's like they opened up, and she ran a good pile. And I'll tell you what, it was funny because she was excited. She got off there. She's like, "Yeah, that's the best pile of the day," and she had worked third. November 4, Tango Romeo Delta. And she said, "I even pulled the turd out of the toilet."
I tried to get you on most of them. I think I got you on probably about half. Then I had some other stuff to do on the later half of the day. But what was interesting is every time I hunted you, because you were kind of light here. The bands were just kind of crappy. I did it on CW because that's just my best chance of getting through from here. And they got me each time. I mean, I'm sure they had, other people there going, "That's Dan, that's Dan." But yeah, it was pretty fun.
Well, that was the thing is pretty much every time you'd hunt us, everybody's like, "Oh, that's Dan, that's Dan." I was really wanting somebody else to come through CW so they could say, "That's Dan." I'm like, "No, it's not."
No.
But Steven was with us, so
yeah,
we knew it wasn't going to be him. But that one time you got us, I kid you not, we had the radio turned way up because like we were trying to pull out really weak stations, and you hit us, and it's like you hit us through. It's like you loaded up the one of those big astrology telescopes and pointed it right at us. I mean, you came through so loud. It was actually crazy how loud.
I wish I'd have known that I would have hit you that loud on CW because I would have done the voice and I would have said park to park. You were like, "Wait a minute."
And that's another thing that I want to talk about. The people who hunted us park to parks.
Ooh. That's brutal.
That is brutal. That's definitely brutal. The people who hunted us park to park, that when they would work us, they say, "I have all the ops already." good job on being a professional. Not that we mind to pass the mic for all, 10, 12, 15, whatever we're running. But good job being a professional. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Keeps the
it makes
flow
it so
going.
much better because like yesterday at the meetup, we were running 15 ops, and we had a string of like 4 or 5 park to parks, and they didn't have the operators. And I said, "All right, we'll pass the mic." They're like, "Oh, well, you can just tell them to us." Well, whoever was running the mic said, "We'll pass." So they'd hand me the mic to rattle off all 15 calls but I did that like 4 or 5 times straight. And like if the next call's a park to park, I'm going to say ignore it because it gets brutal, And at one point, I had a pattern. So Austin Kilowatt Zero Alpha X-Ray Lima, longtime Patreon, was sitting next to me, and so I'd start with him, and then I would go to Alpha Delta 8 Kilo Bravo. Then I would go to Stephen and Dad. Then I would do the Roses. Then I would do myself and Sidewalk Sherry. And I finished off with Zulu Romeo X-Ray every time. But one time I went out of order, and I was having to work my brain overtime.
Yeah.
To think it. Because once I get that order going, it's crazy. Yes, we did list all the people were listed in one spot, and they were also all spotted. They were all spotted at the same park, same frequency too. So yes, they were all on there, and a lot of people. I had park to park say, "I'll look them up on the photo page," because a lot of people don't want to sit and wait for you to pass the mic and stuff. But we did have hunters who said, "All right, I'll stand by for the next operator," and we'd pass the mic for them. That's the name of the game. But I never do understand that why a true hunter would want to do that, because a true hunter knows, okay, cool, there's 15 of them. I'm going in 15 logs. I ain't got to worry about it.
On to the next.
And I can move on to Dan over here, who's activating with 2 operators, and then I can move, but everybody has their own thing, so it's all good. It's all fun. But we'll start talking about the meetup now, because it was absolutely great. Now, there was one problem. We set the meetup at a park, and I got a shelter there, and everything was good. We figured. I put the thing in the GPS, and so did a lot of other people. And then you started seeing all these people like, "Where's this pavilion at?" I had no clue. And PP Man didn't even mention that this park was 15 miles long. So I got like where my GPS took me, I was about 25 minutes away. And I just asked one of the rangers, I was like, well, where's this shelter? But a lot of people ended up calling like the wildlife resources and stuff. And that was the only downfall. But other than that, everything was great. Again, shout out to the Roses. They brought food for everybody for this. So there was a lot of food.
Did you get tripped at all by chance?
We're going to talk about trips. We're going to talk about trips. We're definitely going to talk about trips. Shout out to Michael, Alpha Delta 8 Kilo Bravo, who brought me another big bag of Reese's peanut butter and jelly Reese's.
Nice.
Just like he brought in Dayton. And I did share them once again, but I still have plenty in there. And Michael, you will be happy to know that there's some in my freezer, because he told me to freeze them. And I love it. So there's some in my freezer right now getting frozen as we speak. But
that sounds pretty good frozen, actually.
Yeah, we're going to see. But here was the thing. I've said it a million times. Just because this was a Patreon meetup, you didn't have to be a Patreon to show up. But 99.9% of the people there were Patreons. So that made it really amazing. I did get to meet the one person who wasn't a Patreon. This is other than people who came with people, because we had some wives and stuff show up too. But the only person that wasn't a Patreon, I was still tickled to death he showed up, because I've been wanting to meet him forever, was Alpha Bravo 8 Lima Lima. So he came down and showed up. So that was pretty awesome. Ronnie, I'm going to give him a shout out. Kilo Oscar 4 Zulu Romeo X-Ray, because this weekend was his birthday and his Father's Day, and his wife asked him what he wanted for both of them. He told her he wanted to come to the Michigan meetup.
Heck yeah.
That's just awesome. That's just great stuff right there. And Ronnie was also the one that did that. If you ain't seen that crazy throw, it is in my Discord, but it'll also be on one of the videos that I'm putting out for the meetup. So
I'm telling you, man, the granny throw is where it's at. If you want to, launch a throw bag on an arborist rope up into a tree, that's how you do it. You get accuracy, you get height. It's a lot better than doing that. I love it. That's the way I throw them.
Of course you throw them. So somehow I got a pair of Dan's pants, because it says Dan on the back of it.
Hey.
And of course, Dan don't have enough, behind back here to fill out pants like the king.
Not enough padding.
So of course I got to walk around all day too, with my butt hanging out, because I ripped my pants there.
You ripped Dan?
I ripped the Dan pants.
No.
Yeah. So.
Is there a picture of some ripped Dan pants with some Dr. Pepper underwear, maybe?
No, there wasn't no Dr. Pepper underwear. Unfortunately.
Hopefully there was underwear.
So there was lots of tripping attempts.
Ooh.
Me and Kaylee, we had a competition to do, and she determined, that she was going to try to take me out before the competition. So she started early in the week, trying her trips. One time she missed a trip on me and tripped her sister, who was packing her radio in the bag. Then she went online and figured out how to do mental trips, and she actually just couldn't control it good, and she shot right by my seat and threw Seth out of the van onto the ground. So then Prince Joel said, I'm not ready to rule this kingdom. I can't let the king's life be taken by a trip. So he told me, he said, we're going to have to do something to mess with her. So I said, all right, Kaylee, we're not going to have time to do this bowling competition. And she said, oh yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. She said, we'll get up early in the morning and do it. So that night, while I slept, she comes into my camper. And I don't know if you can see it here on the camera. We're going to try to let you see it here. Let's see here. Over just a little bit. It's not going to show up really good. If you look at the corner of that nail.
Yeah, it's kind of like bit off.
Yeah. She was trying to rip my whole nail off, because this is my balance finger for the bowling ball. and Prince Joel ran in and stopped her. So then the bowling was off, but he said, we have to get our revenge. You're the king.
That's great.
So we waited for her to get in a deep sleep. And at 3:30 a.m., now Kaylee's a hard sleeper. We went in there and we woke her up and said, all right, it's time for the competition. She said, we're going bowling. I said, nope, we're doing nursery rhymes until the other one can't do one. And she's barely awake. and I did a nursery rhyme that was so good. She just said, "Forget it, you win." And I'm going to tell you guys this nursery rhyme. This is how good this thing was. Are you ready for this, Dan?
I'm ready.
All right. Golf Quebec sat on a wall. Golf Quebec had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't give Terry local propagation again.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Oh my goodness.
Kaylee, I love you, by the way.
Dom just joined us, North Carolina for extreme lovers, but he's not. He's just Dom. But hey, congratulations on 200,000. 200,000 contacts as an activator.
Absolutely.
You are among the elite few. I would say probably 5 or 6 or maybe 7 people got that. So, man, congratulations. Good job.
We were out doing a rove, and I kept watching where he was, and we tried him on 20 and couldn't hear him. We tried him on, I think it was 17, and we couldn't hear him. But congratulations to him. That's a big accomplishment, and I'm sure it'll bring you many of loyal thank yous and many of people who are haters too, because that's what success brings you. It brings you haters too. But congratulations. I'm definitely not going to be a hater because that's awesome. PP man, what did I miss? Well, you missed the rest of the meetup because you left early and you didn't get in the picture.
Yeah,
that's what you missed.
He didn't want any evidence that he was there.
Yeah, he probably snuck there. You know, he's like, I'm going to go hang out with QRO people. I can't let my QRP friends tell me. And Terry, my grass just grew. So every time Terry would work us, we would ask him how high his grass was this time. Don't feel bad, Terry. We pulled in here, and the first thing Sidewalk Sherry said, "Oh my God, look at my grass." It is downpouring, and I'm like, how am I going to? I'm sitting there thinking, how am I going to get in the house without just getting drenched? And she's like, "Oh my God, look at my grass."
Surprised she didn't fire up the lawnmower and go mow it.
But it's absolute. I can't thank everybody who showed up at the meetup enough. It was an absolute great time, and I mean, I'm sure it's gonna probably become an annual thing, just like Murphy did, because it was absolutely a blast, and we had so much fun. I don't think we'll do a park that has 15 miles. We'll have to get somebody we'll have to put on GPS coordinates next time, but I will say that I always say this when I get out of West Virginia. I like 20 meters, but I don't like it when I'm in West Virginia. I hate it. We did really good on 20 at the meetup.
Surprisingly, I couldn't hear you on 20. I thought, man, if they go to 20, it's going to be a rock solid here. But as Terry said, propagation's a funny bird.
Yeah, and Terry did get us on 20.
Yeah.
Terry is probably Terry's grass probably grew an inch because he's cried so much that I'm coming back home. Because, all the king's horses and all the king's men can't get Terry local propagation again.
Yeah, he said while you were there, he goes, man, it's the loudest I've ever heard James on 40.
Like, West Virginia was tearing us apart on all those roads. We'd get, 4 or 5 calls straight from West Virginia. So
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, Michael, I'm closing in on that goal that's supposed to be done by the end of the year. That 1,000 parks is almost done. I think I need 11 more parks to finish that goal. So,
well, once you go over there in November and activate all of Utah, you'll be good to go.
Yeah, but I want to do it before I do go activate all of Utah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to say that? Did I just let the cat out of the bag again?
PP Man wanted me to go activate in hell while I was there, and I told him, I said, "You're already here, so I'm already there." So
Did
Terry said, and all 3 contacts from West Virginia was me.
yeah.
It was funny because even the kids would mess with Terry at times. The Kilo station.
That's why I called in one of them. Whiskey Delta 4, Golf, Quebec.
PP Man said I was only 5 miles from hell.
Why was it raining so much?
It didn't rain there.
Oh, it was supposed to, but it never did.
Yeah, it was supposed to rain there,
thunderstorm.
but
Yeah.
it was actually great weather there.
It all diverted to West Virginia.
Yeah. Terry's like, "Hey, rain, come to West Virginia. We've only had like 4,000 inches in the last month. Let's add some more." Dude, I'm surprised West Virginia's not floated off the map this year. It's been crazy here.
Might end up down in Tennessee and North Carolina and northern Georgia if you're not careful.
Well, I mean, I got a few more parks to finish up since he added the new ones in West Virginia. I got to get those first, and then I gotta make a decision. I thought I knew that it was going to be Utah, but I'm not 100% sure. It might be Wyoming that I do next.
I just do them both. Yeah, there. I think Wyoming has one of the. There's a couple, but I believe there's a 7-fur in Wyoming, of legit 7-fur. At least a 6-fur. I know that.
So a legit 6-fur, and not to be confused with a Delfisher.
Well, no, those are legit, depending on where you are.
Not where he parks or not.
I've done it.
I've done it too. I've done it too.
I'm not sure exactly where it is over there in Wyoming, but it's probably at one of those places that a zillion trails cross.
So here's the question to the PZN challenge people who are in the chat tonight. How well do you guys get Maine? Because I know Alpha Delta 8 Kilo Bravo is worried about the Maine trip.
Yeah,
I do know that.
I'm gonna tell you, everybody from probably North Carolina up is gonna, maybe not in the middle of the day, but when the conditions are good on 40, they'll blow you up. Like Toby will blow you up on 40.
Oh, Toby, listen.
On 20, Maine is good from here. I hit Maine pretty easy.
I really don't care where I'm going to go. Toby is going to hit me. I mean, it's just a difference of whether she's going to hit me from her computer chair or whether she's going to stand on her kitchen table. But she's going to hit me. Terry said he's pretty good to Maine.
Heck yeah.
So
I won't say every now and again. Every now and again, 15 meters is good, but 17 meters is pretty solid between here and Maine too.
I tell you what's crazy is, the bands have been trash. Mike says not a problem from there. Okay, well, good. We won't have to worry about it. What about the in between states though? So that trip's going to be all right. Let's see if I can. They're not going to be in this order because I'm just going to rattle them off. You'll have Maine, you'll have Vermont, you'll have Connecticut, you'll have New Hampshire, you'll have Rhode Island, and there's one more.
You done New York?
I've done New York.
Pennsylvania?
I've done Pennsylvania.
Massachusetts.
There we go. Those will be the 6 states. And that's why it's a challenge. I've been trying to tell people that all the time. Yeah. Lots of people fall out for a reason. It's meant to be a challenge.
the density of the states up there, though. You can probably do those 6 states in a day. I mean, to be honest with you.
Did I not say Rhode Island?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Rhode Island.
I mean, I figured there'll be days that I'll have like 3 states, at least.
Oh yeah.
But now Maine's going to be a long drive once I get in Maine. And I'm not saying the only park I'm going to do in Maine is Acadia, but I'm going to do Acadia. That's the whole point in this trip, really. You've been washing the car? Is it not doing there what it's doing here?
Yeah.
I washed my car all the way home. As soon as I got to West Virginia, I started washing it all the way home.
Just sit it out in the driveway. There you go. Hey, so if you wash your car in the rain, do you have to worry about getting water spots on it?
I don't know. I can tell you this.
I wouldn't think so.
Tell you this. So there was all kinds of bugs all over the windshield, which was driving Sherry crazy. And she cleaned it, and half of them wouldn't come off. But it rained enough that guess what? That windshield is clean now. Terry says sunny there now. The last I checked, it was still raining here, Terry. But I guess we'll be checking here shortly. We'll be checking in about 18 minutes because
that local weather propagation is a funny bird. I wouldn't think it was chalk. I think it's the calcium deposit. But yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Plasma Zombie. Awesome name, by the way. That you rinse your car with rainwater, you're not going to have to worry about water spots because it's not hard water. Yeah.
So just soap it up. Just soap it up before it rains. Right.
There you go. That's right. Or get out there while it's raining and.
There's sidewalk. There's sidewalk, Sherry.
She just got done mowing the grass in the rain.
She's probably awake. Dude, she is a tired puppy from all the roughing that we did. She's put in 2 straight 8-hour nights, and she's still like today. She let me drive today. We all know she never lets me drive.
Happy Father's Day, Izzo. Good to see you here, buddy.
Hey, always good to see Izzo. Now, you know, when I do go on my main trip, I'm not sure where I'm going through Connecticut, but I'm hoping I'm going somewhere close to where I can finally go meet Dawn, because that would be awesome.
At least stop for a drink and a cigar or something. Yeah.
Dawn is my very first ever POTA YouTube video. Very first POTA video I watched was him.
It's all your fault, Izzo.
And I actually watched that video. I'm probably all your views on that, Dawn.
If it was a VHS tape, it would no longer be able to maintain tracking. You wore it out.
Yeah, the conditions have been absolutely horrible. And you know, I'll tell you what, normally on the early late shift they get better, but last night I honestly thought my equipment was messed up. I actually called Terry and I said, is 40 meters really as horrible as I'm hearing it right now, or do I have something wrong? He said, there's an awful lot of lightning crashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Izzo is actually the creator of the PZN challenge, because his video started the PZN challenging himself, which led to PZN challenging everybody else. So great stuff. And to be honest, the video that he was doing that I watched, he also had an Eagle 1, which ends up being my favorite antenna now. So learned a lot from Mr. Izzo. You can take the blame for about 950 million miles of traveling.
Yeah. If you go out tonight, James, to a park, try not to park yourself right next to an AM broadcaster.
But, man, I tell you,
That was
that
brutal,
was
man. Oh my God. Yeah,
also,
Terry said they fired up like right when you posted in Discord.
I kid you not. So I called Terry and I asked him if 40. So he knew that I was getting ready to spot in Discord because I was tired. I was doing a Discord only and out. So he knew.
I think it was Terry.
I think Terry was the AM station.
I think Terry fired up the AM station.
He was trying to knock out the rest of the PZN challenge people.
Yeah.
So I said it's this frequency in use like 2 times, and then Terry hit me. And as I'm giving him the signal report, I'm posting in Discord. I got off there and I said CQ Parks in the air once, and here come the AMers and the pileup. And I'm like, I'm just doing Discord. I'm trying to get back to the room. I'm at this little, I kid y'all not. I drove out this old country road, and I pulled down this, looked like a 30-foot driveway, and there was a little circle that was big enough for 2 cars. And that was the actual coordinates for the park. That was the pin. And just this little crappy park. And I was like, I don't care. I'm just trying to get back to the room. And that AMer kept getting louder and louder and louder. But I got, I don't know, 30 some contacts with him. And then I posted in Discord, is there anybody else that's trying to get me? I'll go somewhere else. And somebody did. So I went somewhere else and got a few more. And then I was like, QRT, back to the room.
Well, at least when you were in that small little cul-de-sac that could only fit 2 cars, nobody randomly walked up to you and asked if you were looking for some shampoo. Because that would have been odd, So, how about some bubble gum? Yeah, some bubble gum.
And Sidewalk Sherry thinks she's being smart. She's asking if I need another haircut. It's shenanigans. I'll go ahead and tell you. Not only does she drive on sidewalks, do not let her cut your hair. She has cut my hair for quite a long time now. And before we left for Michigan, I needed a haircut. And she's like, I'll cut your hair. And she's like, which guard is it? I was like, the 3. She's fooling through the stuff, and she said, the 3, right? And I said, yeah, the 3. She's looking through the stuff, and she said, you said 3, right? I said, yeah, 3. And she's like, all right. And she goes, and she goes, oh, crap. And I said, oh, crap, what? She's like, I forgot to put on the guard. I'm like, great. I guess we're going to have to shave my head bald now.
Good job, Cherry. Good job, Cherry.
I said, put it at a 2, and I'll see how bad it is. And she shaved it all as a 2, and I went in and I looked in the mirror and I said, oh my God, I got to wear a hat.
That's
forever.
hilarious. I didn't think she was going to do that, dude. Sherry, I'll give you your $20 later.
So this is the worst part. So, we all, the Roses, of course they pray before every meal and stuff.
Right.
So, you can't wear your hat during prayer. I'm like, every time we pray.
Oh, that is great.
I mean, you would have thought I was in the deepest prayer.
Shaved head adds 6 dB to an activation. Because the signals, they bounce off the dome.
I should have just shaved it all. I really should have at that point. But
yeah,
it's actually, I looked at it a little bit ago. It's actually grown back. You can still tell a little bit that it was, but it's caught up with the 2 hair almost.
That is hilarious.
So yeah, it was pretty horrible.
So you're probably not going to need another haircut until you go back to Florida.
Oh no, when I cut to a 2, it takes me quite a while to need a haircut then.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Okay, she's like, I can't stop laughing.
Good job, Sherry. Good job.
That's what the deer say when you drive down the road.
Get out of the way. Move, Harold.
They're like, here comes that one. Looky there. Bob gets her every time.
Don't trust her. Oh, that is excellent.
I was in. Oh, and on that subject, so there is going to be a video of the roving with the roses, aka the POTA dozen, because there was a dozen.
The RWR. I like that. Roving with the roses.
Yep, but there's also going to be a shenanigan video dropped to YouTube members only, and Sherry will have a section on that one too. Because she said a really good. I wish I would have caught I pulled the turd from the toilet. I just had hit the power button on the camera, and she turned around and said, she said, I pulled the turd from the toilet. And I said, God, why did I hit the stop button?
Did she, Sherry, did you get any video of maybe you using the 2 instead of the 3? Because that'd be worth another $20. Just saying.
We'll take, before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to take a marker, color it all in.
Oh, man, that is great. Shenanigans, that's right. Hey, bang, bang. What's up,
bang,
buddy?
Bang himself.
Good to see you, my friend. Can't wait to see you here in about 2 months. About 2 months.
It won't be long. It won't be long. I'm going to try to get in Maine before then. But Maine's going to be a big planning session.
Yeah.
Because that's a big project, because 6 states, and yeah, I could just go and hit those states and right back, but I'm going to do it right. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta figure it out, because I'll stay in parks. I probably won't camp. I'll probably sleep in a car, because we all know that setting up a tent is a waste of time, because it's me setting up a tent, then me sleeping in the car, and then pulling down the tent the next day.
Well, that's how you camp. You car camp. Literally.
Right. But
what's going on, Jason?
That's going to be a big deal. Hey, thank you very much, Jason. Welcome to the stream. You're a little bit late. Yeah, the Kentucky POTA meetup is this Saturday. I did talk to Terry and ask him if he was going. We may go out that way, Brent. I'm not going to promise, but we may be heading out that way.
There you go.
And tomorrow, supposedly, I'll be that park that I need out your way is opening, so I'll probably come out there one day this week and do that too, and get that out of the way. Because hopefully, if nothing happens between now and the 28th, I will get my last park on the 28th for Kentucky. If nothing happens.
Let's see. Brent said, Roger, he doesn't care how much you've traveled. He expects you to be there. I kind of paraphrase that a little bit. He did do POTA today. He did, today, UTC day today.
Oh, who said I didn't do POTA today?
No. Just ask Jason.
Oh, okay.
That would be KQ4UEI.
Yeah, I've only done late shift for today, but I'm probably fixing to get wet and go out and do it again, and do an early late. I was right, Brent. Terry asked me where it was, and I said I think it's somewhere close to Louisville, so it's in between Frankfort and Louisville, which is almost my old stomping grounds. I used to live in Lexington, and I used to mountain bike ride in Frankfort all the time.
The bands are up and down.
It's
As
just,
they always are, it seems.
Like it's crazy, because people will say they'll be listening to me and I'll be a 5'9", and then they'll screw out their call and I'll come back to them and I'm a 5'2", and then Then they barely make the contact. Then I'm next call, I'm a 5'9" again. I mean, it's been pretty. You know, it like I said a couple of streams ago, if this is, yeah, 40 meters, my candy still too. But if this is the top of the cycle, I want to go back to the bottom because it was way better in the bottom than this for me. And the way I'm talking, what, 3 months now?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been a few days here and there that it pops back good, but 3 months now, it's been just absolute garbage.
There's been nothing on 10 meters lately. It's been just totally closed up for me anyway.
So
6 meters been pretty pumping, to be honest.
every time I try it, nobody ever comes. Don says he misses the bottom too. Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I did not struggle this much then. So, I mean, if this is the top, bring on the bottom again, I guess.
I guess it's, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. When it comes to the top of the solar cycle, you get the more active sun, which more sunspots, which is a good thing, but then you get more of the sun puke and the flares as well. So, yeah.
Now Eric says that's an East Coast thing, so evidently they're still kicking it out there. But I mean, it's not that I'm having a problem getting activated. It's a rare occasion that I'm going to have that issue. I have had it once in the last couple of weeks where I was doing CW and I did 40 CW and got the Rose 5 and Steven. So 6 contacts and nobody else could get me on CW. So I went to 20 and got no one. I went to 18 and got somebody out west and somebody over this way. And then I went to 10 and finished out the whole activation on 10.
Yeah.
But I mean, typically, if I'm only getting 40 contacts, the bands are horrible. Unless I'm doing a CW Rove. If I'm doing a CW Rove, normally around 15, if there's a break, I go QRT and I go on. I do that most mornings. Most mornings I'll do 3 or 4 CWs right in a row, and I'll do like 15 contacts. And if they're still calling, I'm going to stay there. But if they're not, I'm going to go for sure.
Jason said he hasn't had any luck on 6 meters yet. And, it's weird, dude. You can sit there and leave your radio and sit your butt in this chair all day long and not hear anything on 6 meters. And all of a sudden it opens up and you hear everything in the world. Well, not necessarily the world, but you know what I mean? You hear a whole bunch of activity and then 20 minutes later, gone. That's why they call it the magic band.
Eric said he's been loving the top of the cycle. It's been working great for him. So,
yeah.
And I think it is for like, a lot of places, Japan, they'll stay on the radio. Like I will see more Japan on the radio than anything.
Oh, yeah.
But it's been trash.
I guess it depends on what your goal is too. If you're looking for like, POTA contacts, localish, stuff like that, you're not going to be too concerned about, top of the band, bottom of the band. But if you're a BX chaser,
I'm not looking for POTA contact. I'm looking for 100 POTA contacts in 4 minutes, so I can go on to the next park.
That's true.
That's when the bands are good for me. So, well, what you got coming up, Dan? We're coming on the top of the hour.
Hopefully everybody had a good Father's Day. Enjoy the rest of the couple hours of it. And thanks for joining us here on episode 126 of Shenanigans. And we'll see you next Sunday for Shenanigans, next Wednesday for the Hump Day Happy Hour. What's going on, James?
Yeah, for the Hump Day Happy Hour, we're going to be making contacts. I'm going to actually set my radio right here, right beside me, and we're going to make contacts. And Dan's always isn't right in front of him. Mine's normally over there, but we'll be making contacts on Wednesday. For me, I've still got a ton of unpacking to do, but it can wait because I'm getting ready to go out and do an early late shift because I haven't activated in West Virginia since last Tuesday.
It's forgot your name.
It's calling the king's name. But other than that, I'm going to be back to putting out a crap ton of videos like I was before I left, and doing the POTA thing, 24/7, because that's what I like to do. Thanks everybody for hanging out. And once again, if you came to the meetup or if you helped out with the meetup, thank you guys very much. Awesome time. And I cannot wait to do it again. 73, everybody. And which park? Not one of the two you're thinking. 73, everybody.
See you guys. 73.